The Current State of LGBTQIA Progress in Japan, presented by me, Mishima Kitan, for the Japan Festival at the University of Iceland. This presentation is an introduction to LGBTQIA+ issues in Japan. I have created this presentation with people who know little about the queer issues in Japan in mind, so if you follow such news closely, there might be some information you already know. I will be focusing on the following things in particular. 1. Who am I? 2. Legal protection of LGBTQIA+ people in Japan. 3. Status of same-sex marriage. 4. The mental health of LGBTQIA+ people. 5. Legal gender recognition process in Japan. 6. Japanese LGBTQIA+ authors I follow. This presentation is for people who at least understand the basic differences between various sexualities and gender identities. If you don't understand certain terms, please look them up yourself. About me. My name is Mishima Kitan. People in English-speaking countries often assume that my name is in the Western order of first name, then surname. But I denote my name in the Japanese order, so Mishima is my surname, Kitan is my name. I'm a bilingual non-binary queer Japanese person. I was born and raised in Japan. I'm a professional Japanese and English translator and localizer. I translate both ways, from Japanese to English and vice versa. My pronouns are they, them. For more information about me, please check my website, mishimakitan.com. If you have any inquiries, please contact me at my email address right here. I will not be responding to any abusive messages. Legal protection of LGBTQIA+ people in Japan. No legal framework exists in Japan to achieve the protection of equality and freedom for LGBTQIA+ people. In fact, there is no actually functioning hate crime law that bans hate speech and hateful behaviors and set penalties for such act in Japan for any minorities. The so-called, quote, anti-hate speech law that was introduced in 2016 does not ban hateful behaviors nor set any punishments for them. If you want to read a more recent report about the situation of human rights in Japan, you can check out the 2020 report on human rights in Japan by Amnesty International in the link right here. Status of same-sex marriage. Same-sex marriage is not legalized in Japan. As you can tell from the diagram here, 147 municipalities have partnership systems in Japan. While it is progress, a partnership system isn't enough. It doesn't grant the same rights married heterosexual couples have to queer people in partnership. Not having same-sex marriage legalized allows discrimination to continue. Following things are some examples of such discrimination. 1. If a queer person with a partner passes away without leaving any will, the remaining partner may lose the rights to inheriting properties. At least in Japan, when one of the people in a heterosexual marriage passes away without a will, the rights to inheritance typically are given to the remaining partner. Such isn't the case for queer people. 2. When a non-Japanese queer person gets a partnership with a Japanese person, no spousal visas are granted to non-Japanese partners. Although Japan is renowned for the tough immigration process for non-Japanese people, a non-Japanese heterosexual person would at least have the opportunity to apply for a spousal visa if they get married. A queer non-Japanese person will not be given the same opportunity. 3. If people's partners get critically or fatally ill, and are taken to the hospital, the queer people will be rejected from seeing their hospitalized partners because only legally recognized family members are allowed in hospitals. The above examples are from the Marriage for All website. These are only a few examples. There are more listed on the website. Marriage for All Japan is a great source to follow on the legal progress for marriage equality in Japan. It is a group of activists supporting and reporting on the legal process for marriage equality. You can check them out on the link below. The mental health of LGBTQIA people in Japan is not great. According to the research by Niji Bridge, more than double the amount of LGBTQIA plus people reported that they experienced serious psychological distress compared to their cis heterosexual counterparts. In addition to having no legal protection, LGBTQIA plus people experience various forms of discrimination and harassment in their workplaces. Workplace Equality in Japan white paper by Niji Bridge gives details of various difficulties faced by LGBTQIA plus people in workplaces. It reports that while discriminatory speech and harassment have decreased compared to previous years, many LGBTQIA plus people still experience such instances, with some that can be considered as sexual assaults. For further detailed information, please check out the white paper from the link over here. Please note that the paper is entirely in Japanese. Without any legal protection in general and pervasive discrimination, it is no wonder that LGBTQIA plus people in Japan have serious psychological distress. Legal gender recognition process in Japan. The Japanese gender recognition process for transgender people is a violation of human rights. According to the GID Special Cases Act in Japan, Japanese transgender people must fulfill the following criteria to have their gender legally recognized and changed on official documents, such as driver's license and government documents. 1. Be 20 years old or older. 2. Be presently unmarried. 3. Not presently have any underage children, that is, children under 20 years of age. 4. Not have gonads or permanently lack functioning gonads. Gonads are reproductive organs. 5. Have a physical form that is endowed with genitalia that closely resemble the physical form of an alternative gender. This means that Japanese transgender people who do not want to medically transition or cannot medically transition for various reasons cannot legally change their gender markers on any official documents. With the age restriction, Japanese trans people must endure their lives until they are adults to be eligible for medical transition and gender recognition process. I believe it is obvious how problematic these 5 criteria are just by reading them from a humanitarian perspective. Human Rights Watch in Japan calls this legal process, quote, anachronistic and harmful, and urged for the reformation of this law in the 2021 paper, The Law Undermines Dignity, specifically written on the human rights violation of transgender people in Japan. You can read the entire report in English from this link here. In 2013, United Nations Human Rights Council called upon, quote, all states to repeal any law allowing intrusive and irreversible treatments, including forced genital normalizing surgery, involuntary sterilization, and so on, when enforced or administered without the free and informed consent of the person concerned. Presently, Japan continues to violate the human rights of transgender people by continuing the enforcement of this legal process. Japanese LGBTQIA authors I follow. In the following slides, I will introduce some Japanese LGBTQIA plus authors I follow. All names are denoted in Japanese order: surname, name. While they all post online primarily in Japanese, if you are interested in queer issues in Japan and have a good command of Japanese, I believe they are great people to follow. Note, I have received written consent to introduce these people. I have checked their pronouns, identities, and what other details they'd feel comfortable sharing publicly. First up is Dr. Miki Nayuta. Dr. Miki is an openly transgender woman and teaches at the University of Osaka. Her main area of study is philosophy, linguistic theory, and analytic philosophy. She has recently published Transgender Experience and Gender as an Aristotelian Essence in the Philosophia Osaka publication, which can be accessed through this link below. Yoshino Yugi. Yoshino Yugi is a non-binary researcher at the Graduate School of Court Ethics and Frontier Sciences in Ritsumeikan University in Japan. In 2004, they held the first student-led Pride Parade in Japan. And in 2020, they've written 誰かの理想を生きられはしない、取り残された者のためのトランスジェンダー史, which the title can be translated to Can't Live by Someone Else's Ideals, Transgender History for Those Left Behind. A rare book that shines a light on transgender legislations and medical procedures in Japan. For more information about this book, please check out the link below. Shuji Akira. Shuji Akira is a pansexual transgender man who also describes himself to be being closer to non-binary, and author of the book トランス男性によるトランスジェンダー男性学 Transgender Men's Studies written by a trans man. The book asks the important question, why are transgender men not considered in the framework of men's studies, given the background that transgender male identity is often contemplated within the framework of feminism or LGBTQIA+ activism. His book gives insights on trans masculinity as well as various details never before explored in Japanese. For more information about this book, please check out the link right here. Matsuoka Soshi. Matsuoka Soshi is a cisgender gay author, writer, and the board representative of FAIR, an organization that focuses on spreading information, holding campaigns, and various activities for the progress of LGBTQIA+ rights in Japan. He recently published あいつゲイだってアウティングはなぜ問題なのか Did you hear that he's gay? Why is outing a problem? Which speaks about the issues of outing of queer people in Japan. For more information about his book, please check the link right here. And lastly, Takai Yutori. Takai Yutori is an associate professor at Ishikawa Prefectural Nursing University, philosopher, ethicist, and a translator. While teaching at Ishikawa Prefectural Nursing University, they are currently translating Sarah Ahmed's Queer Phenomenology and Sean Fay's Transgender Issue from English to Japanese. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you all for your attention. I'd like to thank the Japanese Department of the University of Iceland for this important opportunity to speak about the LGBTQIA+ issues in Japan, and would like to also thank all of the sincere audience members who have listened to this presentation.